Time for pattern predictions, a look at the next 2 weeks of weather, taking us through the end of March. Danielle Noyes here for the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. You can get the 2-week forecast in our free 5-star rated weather app. But this is the why behind the forecast, what you may see change or shift a little bit in the coming couple of weeks. And what I'm about to show you should not be a surprise if you watched Matt's March monthly forecast that he put out at the start of the month, which she called for colder than average temperatures for the second half of the month. Now, you play through the surface weather forecast, you say colder than average. Look at a lot of these oranges and reds. Yes, record-breaking heat, 80s, 90s, Southern California, desert Southwest, central Southern plains, warmth building back into the southeastern United States. But here at home, cooler than average, with reinforcing shots of cooler air coming out of eastern Canada. One coming in behind this disturbance to start the week, another one for the second half of the weekend and the start of next week. Now, typical springtime pattern, right? We do get big swings that come in, so some warmth will start to build back into the southern central United States. But as we head through the middle and end of next week, notice another shot of colder than normal air comes in really for the eastern 2/3 of the country as we head into the last week of March. You see that in the upper level pattern too. This is the height to 500 millibars, essentially cold layers of the atmosphere represented in the purples here and the warmth in the oranges. So we do get this ridge of warmth that's building over the western United States, central United States this week. But look at how much cold air is still available. And these pulses do come in from time to time, focused really from the northern plains, but right here in New England with this trough, this dip in the jet stream cut out right on through the end of the month for us here at home. And you'll see that if I put the jet stream forecast on here. Where is it focused? Really from central Canada right into the northeast. So that will promote an active weather pattern with several disturbances. Now we may get a brief bump up in temperatures through the middle part of the last week of March, very briefly, before another dip comes in and kind of cuts off an upper level low in the eastern seaboard. So that will promote some unsettled weather for the last several days of the month as well. How does that play out in terms of precipitation forecast? Well, with that dip, the precipitation will generally be focused in the eastern half of the country, but the deeper greens and yellows here indicate a widespread 2 to 4 inch rainfall event with some locally higher totals through the end of the month, all the way from the mid-Atlantic, from parts of the Northeast right here in New England, drier than normal pattern in the central, southern United States. The Pacific Northwest will still get into some snowy action here, including some record-breaking snow in western Canada. For us, we are not done with the flakes either. There are likely going to be some snowflakes that mix in even into southern New England with these disturbances through the end of the month. Northern New England, spring skiing, wow, at its finest. A pretty good agreement here that we get an additional 6 to 12 inches of snow over the next 10 days with some locally higher totals in the summit. So March doing its March thing here. So I think the trickiest part of this forecast is the precipitation chance. Okay, so it does go up as we head into the end of the week and the weekend with several disturbances and pieces of energy coming by. Then it dips back down a little bit briefly for the start of next week before going back up for the middle and end of next week. And that's that upper level low cutting off. There'll be several disturbances kind of rotating around it. So every couple of days, that chance goes up with several disturbances to track. And in this type of active pattern, more than a couple of days out, it does mean that the uncertainty, or at least the confidence, goes down a little bit until we can get closer to each event and get that exact timing. Now, our Tuesday, the 17th for St. Patrick's Day, going to be warmest, but in the morning as the colder air comes in, there we go, with temperatures running in the 30s and 40s. Keep in mind for the end of March, we should be closing in the upper 40s to lower 50s in spots. So it's a cooler than normal pattern for both daytime highs and overnight lows. And I know that's tricky because with the record warmth we had, at least briefly, for last week, a lot of folks get excited about springtime and planting. Not yet. We're talking about overnight lows that are still going to be running in the 20s to lower 30s, below freezing pretty much across the board, with the coldest morning looking like Wednesday morning and again through the middle part of next week with many 20s on the map and likely some teens in northern New England. So colder than normal pattern and a volatile pattern here through the end of the month. We'll be with you every step of the way on our streaming network too, 24/7 online on our app. And on your smart TV, if you open up the YouTube app, search 1 Degree Outside Network. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.onedegreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the number 1 Degree Outside Weather.